All right, our viewers at home, this Delta Authors train is on fire. Are you ready to meet more authors? If so, let me hear a choo choo. I am excited to introduce our final group of writers to you. Tanya Renee Lee is a professional speaker, works as a producer and actor, and has been in entertainment and literary industries since 1985. Dr. Myrtle Means is a seasoned psychologist with experience treating an array of mental health concerns and a thriving private practice in Michigan and Georgia. Josephine Bolin McCall retired from a career as a school psychologist and is a sought after media primary source and speaker who appeared on PBS, NBC, ABC, and more. Dr. Regina Vincent Williams is a motivational speaker and self-published author, freelance writer, and previously worked in higher education. Lend them your ears. Here they are.
Hello, my name is Sarah Tanya Renee Lee. I'm glad to be here this evening with you at the Delta Authors on Tour. I want to thank the Delta National Arts Commission for hosting this event, which provides exposure to all sorors, and especially us being women of color that otherwise go unnoticed in the literary world. I pledged at the University of Central Oklahoma in 1981, and I'm a member currently of the Lawton Alumni chapter. I started in the Central region, and now it looks like I'm going to end in the Central region, but it's been a great ride. I want to talk to you a little bit more about my books, though. That's the reason I'm here today. And I wanted to share with you the book that I'm featuring at this event for the Delta Authors on Tour, called Solo. It is a book of quotes and poetry that I wrote when I was caring for both of my parents who were very ill. My father had had a quadruple bypass, and my mother, who was also a Delta, had severe Alzheimer's. I also have written 6 other books and appeared in 2 anthologies. I hope that you will come and visit me in the breakout room where we can step into my world and look at the books that I've written and how they've touched others' lives and how they might also touch your life. I hope that you walk away from the Delta Authors on Tour feeling excited and reading more. Remember Solo. Don't go home without one. Can I count on you? I hope so. See you in the breakout room.
Good afternoon. My name is Josephine Bolin McCall. I'm a member of the Montgomery Alumni Chapter. I pledged Beta Eta at Alabama State University in 1961. I retired as a nationally certified school psychologist. During my retirement, Roots came out by Alex Haley. So I decided I wanted to look into my own background. My father was killed when I was 5 years old, and I had no idea why and how the murder took place. So I began my research at the Alabama Archives and History and obtained the Montgomery Advertiser newspaper. It stated that my father was shot 6 times with a pistol and once in the back with a shotgun. I did not know that classified the murder as a lynching. I did not know that until other documents said that it was a lynching, and I did further research and found that Ida B. Wells intervened on behalf of her 3 friends who had been lynched. Later, I decided to write a book, and I actually penned this book, The Penalty for Success. My father was lynched in Lowndes County, Alabama. Make sure you come to my breakout room and discover with me why my father was lynched and also why Lowndes County did not want it to appear to be a lynching. Also, you will learn that at the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, my father's memorial is hanging there. And Brian Stevenson won't be able to say that you cannot identify one person out of the 400,000 that have been lynched. You will know my father's name and be able to find his memorial. So come to my breakout room.
Hello, I am Dr. Myrtle Means, clinical psychologist, sexologist, and author of the Recipe for Ecstasy book series. There are 2 titles in my book series: The Recipe for Ecstasy, What Women Want, Sexual and Relationship Satisfaction, and The Recipe for Ecstasy, The Couple's Guide to Intimacy and Pleasure. I am excited to be a part of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority's Delta Authors on Tour program this year. I was especially excited to be invited to participate in the Central Regions program. I was looking forward to visiting Oklahoma and meeting sorors from Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. Unfortunately, COVID-19 had different plans for us. Therefore, this year's programs will be executed virtually. I've also had to learn how to practice virtually as well. My psychology practice is 100% online at this time. I was born and raised in Michigan, initiated into Delta Sigma Theta in spring 1993 at Michigan State University, Epsilon chapter. I am number 12 of 12 gauge, tail 12, that's me. After leaving Michigan State University, I became a member of Inkster Alumni Chapter, which is also in Michigan. Now that I reside in Georgia, I am a member of Marietta Roswell Alumni Chapter. I live here in Georgia with my husband of 17 years and my 2 daughters, Madeline and Marin, ages 16 and 13. As you can see, I am very familiar with the Midwest. I am getting to know the Southern region. And now I have an opportunity to get to know sorors from the Central region and to share the recipe for ecstasy with you. You might be wondering, what is ecstasy? Ecstasy is a peak experience. You can have them personally and professionally. What's most important is that you choose your unique ingredients to create your recipe for ecstasy. I look forward to sharing with you my recipe for ecstasy. Bon appetit.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Regina Vincent Williams. I'm a member of the Toledo Alumni Chapter, Toledo, Ohio. I pledged in the Oak Ridge Alumni Chapter, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. In the Toledo Alumni Chapter, I serve as the recording secretary and also the social action chair. I just want to throw a plug out for our coming up May 5th Delta Day at the state capitol. And just circle that on your calendar, sorors. We're here today to talk about the books that we've written, the 10 Pearls of Perfection, as you all have tagged us. And I really thank you all for hosting this event for the Central Region and for Omaha, Nebraska chapter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I've done quite a few books. I've been writing for a long time, but today I'm going to feature some of the ones that are my favorites. One of the favorites is From Grandmother with Love. Now, this book is primarily for grandchildren, grandmothers, anyone that has a great love for someone in your life that has influenced your life and given you pearls of wisdom over time. And it does a comparison of grandmothering today versus yesterday. When I started out writing so many years ago, I was writing mostly love and relationship poetry. At some point, I had to think about when our hearts are broken and how our hearts are healed. This one is titled Broken Hearts Do Heal, and they do heal. That goes out for everybody. And I'm so glad that God got my attention, because he says, you know what? If you want your heart to not be broken so many times, you really need to call on me, love on me a lot more. And then I started listening. This is a personal journal about the many things that God will tell us, but are we listening when God talks to us? Yes, God, I'm listening. And on the flyer that you all have all seen, probably you would have seen Answering God's Wake Up Call. Now, this book, Answering God's Wake Up Call, is a 100-day journey and a journal of different events that have occurred through my life, but I've had many people that can relate to it. When most of the books I've written, people say they can relate to what it is that I've talked about. Now, I know those of us in the South can relate to integration. This is split shift. I went to school on a split shift system, and I had to write about how it was to integrate my high school in Alabama. The last book that I did is By God's Grace, Still Surviving. And the one that I told you earlier, Answering God's Wake Up Call, it was redone, first done in 2013, but redone in 2020. This is the one, and this one are the ones we're really going to talk about a lot when we get over in the breakout room. So I encourage you to come over. Let's chat, let's talk, and let's read some poetry. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, authors, for the passion you placed on paper. To our viewers at home, it is not time to get off the Delta Authors train yet. Our next portion of this event is a 2-panel discussion of 5 authors each, where you can receive answers about how they launched their first book, what inspired their topics, and so much more. I am happy to introduce the authors on our first panel. Venice T. Berry, Pamela Bruner, Maxine Bigby Cunningham, Sonia Whitaker Gregg, and J. Robin Jones. Our second panel discussion will be with Alexis Lawson, Tanya Renee Lee, Josephine Bolin McCall, Dr. Myrtle Means, and Dr. Regina Vincent Williams. I will serve as the moderator. We'll see you there.